All right, let's jump right into this explainer and decode what actually moves the needle when it comes to elementary school students' success. Look, if you're a parent, a teacher, or honestly just someone who's fascinated by how humans learn, you've probably waded through a total sea of conflicting advice about how to help kids thrive in school. Well, today, we're throwing out the guesswork. We're going to look purely at the hard data to build a roadmap of what truly impacts academic achievement, and maybe even more importantly, what simply doesn't.
To do this, we're going to demystify a really fascinating academic study published in the İnönü University Journal of the Faculty of Education out of Turkey. The goal here? To uncover the actual statistical formula for high achievement. Instead of just relying on random anecdotes or gut feelings, these researchers used rigorous data to measure exactly how different family variables predict a child's grades. We're going to take all this dense, peer-reviewed data and translate it into some crystal clear, actionable insights for you.
Because it's kind of the ultimate mystery, isn't it? What truly drives a child's academic success? I mean, is it the amount of money a family makes? Is it how often a parent volunteers at the school? Or is it something a little more subtle? Something embedded in the everyday interactions happening inside the home? This study set out to answer exactly that by examining 6 distinct variables. And let me tell you, the final answers might completely change how you view your role in a student's educational journey.
So, to figure this all out, researchers analyzed a socio-economically diverse sample of 420 parents of elementary and middle school students. Mothers made up nearly 59% of the respondents, while fathers accounted for about 41%. By tracking everything from family income and the parents' own educational background all the way down to specific homework habits, the researchers gathered a seriously robust dataset to find out what actually correlates with a student's end-of-year grades.
But before we get to the really good stuff, we've got to eliminate the noise. We need to start with the variables that the data shows simply do not matter as much as we tend to assume.
Get this. The data shows that the child's gender made absolutely no difference. Whether it was the mom or the dad driving the education, totally insignificant. And here's the real shocker, especially for those of us who are completely exhausted by endless bake sales and committee meetings. Being highly involved at the physical school building did not show a direct correlation to higher grades. Crazy, right?
This brilliantly illustrates a massive pivot in how we need to understand this. Traditional school involvement, attending meetings, volunteering for field trips, sitting on the PTA, it doesn't automatically boost elementary grades. But home involvement, that absolutely does. The researchers noted a massive difference when parents engage in home-based involvement. So it isn't about being seen at the school. It's all about that quiet, consistent work happening right at the kitchen table.
Okay, so now that we've stripped away the noise, let's take a look at the structural background factors that actually do carry statistical weight and give students a baseline advantage before they even crack open a textbook. Well, for starters, the data proves a parent's own educational background is a massive driver. In fact, the odds of high achievement are almost 3 times higher for children of highly educated parents compared to those with lower education levels. Basically, when parents have navigated the higher education system themselves, they just naturally pass down academic advantages and solid study skills. And let's look at this next point. Family income matters too, which, makes logical sense. It directly affects a child's access to crucial social, cultural, and academic resources. The study found a significant positive relationship between families' socio-economic status, or SES, and academic achievement. Higher income usually means better access to books, maybe tutoring, educational tech, and generally a home environment with fewer financial stressors. All of that clears the runway for a kid to just focus on learning.
But hold on, because here is where it gets absolutely fascinating. Neither income nor parent education is the most powerful predictor of success. Nope. The research revealed a single psychological factor that totally towers over the rest. And the best part, it doesn't cost a single dime.
The absolute strongest predictor of a child's success is parental expectation. Now, academics define this very specifically. We're not just talking about demanding straight A's. Parental expectation is defined as making realistic judgments about a child's future academic achievement and then combining that with actual supportive behaviors. It's about knowing what your kid is genuinely capable of, communicating that belief to them, and then actively providing the environment they need to hit that target.
This is so crucial. We have to separate actual expectations, which require daily action and evaluation, from mere aspirations, which are essentially just hopeful wishes. Aspirations are based on social norms, like saying, "Oh, I hope you go to college one day." Expectations, on the other hand, are grounded in reality. They involve allocating time, evaluating skills, and directly interacting with the child to rebuild those goals as they grow. One is passive hope, the other is active scaffolding.
Now, check out this number, nearly 14. To be super exact, 13.58. In social science, finding a multiplier of 2 or 3 is considered a very strong result. We just saw that having a highly educated parent gives a kid a 3 times higher chance of success, but when researchers ran the numbers on parental expectations, the multiplier they found completely reshaped the entire model.
According to the researchers' logistic regression analysis, children are nearly 14 times more likely to achieve high success if their parents hold high expectations. Let that sink in for a second. By simply holding realistic expectations and backing them up with supportive behavior, a parent can increase their child's odds of high academic achievement by almost 1,400% compared to parents with low expectations.
And hey, if maintaining strictly high expectations sounds a little exhausting, the data actually offers some incredible encouragement here too. Even holding moderate expectations leads to an unbelievable 8 times higher chance of academic success compared to low expectations. This proves you don't need to be some hyper-demanding perfectionist to make a real impact. Just moving from a low expectation baseline to a moderate, engaged baseline provides a massive safety net for a student's grades.
So your expectations absolutely drive results. But how do we effectively put that into practice? What does that actually look like on a random Tuesday evening?
It turns out, high-impact home involvement really just boils down to a few simple daily routines. The data proves it's about helping with projects, checking to see if homework is finished, reading books together, and having constant communication by just discussing how their day went at school. This direct, mutual interaction is what naturally accompanies high expectations. It's the daily act of talking about classes and catching problems early that proves to your kid that your expectations are real.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final thought to really mull over. Ask yourself, are your daily interactions at home building a true foundation of expectations, or are you just relying on aspirations? Remember, the data is totally definitive here. Your gender doesn't matter, your PTA attendance isn't the deciding factor, and even your income is secondary to the sheer power of your belief in your child's capabilities as long as you back it up with daily at-home support. The biggest statistical advantage in your child's education, it's literally right in your hands.